Hello everybody out there, Chris and Mike here, and welcome back to another Dark Avenger comic book review. And we are officially in the new year, 2015, new slate, new comics, new everything.
I was just going to say that, you read my mind.
And it all begins right here with the books that were released on
January 7, 2015, the first week of January.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Really quickly, minor announcement. I did mention this on the haul video. Probably will happen sometime this week. I will be having a small live show sometime this week, explaining my live show schedule, which will begin. The live shows will begin again in February. Because I want to fine-tune a few things, I want to tweak things, I want to see what I want to put where, on what show, what the goals are for each live show, and how they're incorporated either into my channel or into Zone 4 podcast.
So you're saying it's like putting a puzzle together?
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, if you'd like to see more Zone 4 announcements involving yours truly, check it out on zone4podcast.com. No more announcements because we usually save that for the whole videos. Let's get into the books this week. Now, I had a feeling dropping Green Lantern, I would be wrong.
Uh-oh.
So I got the book digitally instead of physically. So I can't show you guys anything, unfortunately.
How was it?
I read it.
Mm-hmm.
And damn it, it was pretty good.
It was what?
It was pretty good.
Green Lanterns.
Green Lantern.
Oh, Lantern, yeah.
Not Core.
Wow.
I might get a physical copy. Of course, I'm not going to review it 2 weeks from now, but I might actually get a physical copy. I think that there's hope. I'm not going to say a lot of it, because I don't know where this is going yet. But there's hope. Will I return to Green Lantern Corps? I highly doubt it. But if I say no, and then I end up going back to that, I'm going to bite myself, and I'm going to put my foot in my mouth. But Green Lantern Corps is ending anyway.
Right.
For now, though, I did read Green Lantern. And to my surprise, it was really good. It had a nice scene. Barry was in it. Guy was in it. Hal is back on Earth. There was a bar scene that was hilarious. And then the ending with Carol was also very good. And it left things open that didn't seem like they were open for the past year.
Okay.
So it was a pretty good book. So yes, I'm probably going to be getting the issue in a physical form, and I'll probably get next month's issue. But obviously I'm not going to be listing it in the description below because I don't have the book to show you artwork. I will say though, it definitely looks like there's a possibility that this is moving along in a positive direction. Maybe I will list it since I am talking about it. I'll share artwork obviously next month when I get the book again, but the artwork is the same still, I believe, to my knowledge. I'll check it out, and if I'm wrong, I'll show you guys some artwork in a couple episodes from now when I get the physical book. Anyway, now on to the physical books for DC Comics. I'm going to start off with this book because it takes place during the same time as Batman Superman, and that is Lobo issue number 4. Now, I'm not picking up Lobo, nobody worry. This is a first and last issue for me. Cover says it all. This takes place during the Lobo-Superman fight in Batman Superman, basically filling the gaps between the scenes where it goes to Batman and it leaves Superman off. Lobo explains a few things to Superman. I don't know, I love the artwork. One thing I will say about this book is I definitely like the artwork.
Still miss the other Lobo, though.
He is Lobo, in my opinion. But anyway, I'm not going to give too many spoilers away, but first, Superman's fighting Lobo, then he's on Lobo's side, then he's fighting Lobo again. It's all a bounty. I don't know. I honestly bought this to see if it had anything to do with Batman, Superman, and when I found out it didn't, it was just literally filling in. It was basically a Lobo Superman story for the New 52.
Wasn't it like that in Pre-New 52, how they got teamed up and then fought again?
Yeah, and then Superman told him to get the hell off the planet and never come back. That's basically this.
So that's really how it always goes.
It was okay. If you've been reading Lobo, you're going to like this issue. If you read Batman, Superman, you'll understand what's going on. But did you need this book if you're only reading Batman, Superman? No. But again, it was a $2.99 book. I wanted to see Lobo versus Superman, so I decided to grab it. Nice book, all in all. Earth 2 issue number 30. Earth 2 just continues to be a backup to World's End, since we're getting World's End every single week. Basically, that's Earth 2, 4 out of the 4 weeks in the month. Basically, Earth 2 became a backup story, and in this book, you get the avatars, how each of them was chosen, and their backup story. We know how Alan Scott was picked. We find out how his boyfriend Sam was picked. Then we find out the origin of the avatar of the red, and then the blue, or was it the blue and then the red? I'm sorry, it was the blue, then the red, and then I believe the last one, the red was the last one chosen, and then it goes into the whole. And we already know about Solomon Grundy, so they didn't retell that story. But artwork was good. Nice backup story for all of the avatars. It was a solid book, all in all. Really good artwork, like I said, but again, just a backup. It's basically your secret files to World's End. It gives you the background on the avatars in this one. Last time it was the Furies, if I'm not mistaken, and before that, it was something else. It's always like a backup to what's going on. So all in all, it was a good book, but again, it's just extra, which I was hoping that Earth 2 would kind of take a point of view during World's End that we don't see in World's End, that we would only see in Earth 2, but I guess that's not happening. And World's End is ending, I believe, March. So we're in January, February, March. 2 more months, 2 more issues of Earth 2 anyway, so I guess backups is what it's going to be all the way till the end.
Yep. Green Arrow issue number 38. With Green Lantern, who appears in this book from what we saw last issue, because he's back on Earth. And he saves them from falling, and I really like this page right here. Like, that was a really great page right there. And the artwork's just fantastic each and every time. And I believe this is chapter 4 of Kingdom, by the way. So they're just fighting off against like robots and everything. We get a little bit about Mia, and if you want to find out what happens between Mia and Mr. King, or I forgot what his first name was, you could definitely read the book. Meanwhile, there's just like a ton of extras that are happening here, where Green Arrow asks like Green Lantern to help him out with what's been going on in Seattle. And also Katana makes an appearance in this issue as well. And I'll show some more artwork. Oh, and there was this one hospital scene where the doctor was going to cut off the wire, and luckily for Green Lantern with the power, he let them live and everything. And here's some more artwork. And then basically in the end, he's just saying, you know, he's just saying that he's not allowed to use the ring on Earth, so and he thinks others need him and all that. So now this mayor, or whoever he was, is saying that Green Arrow's a menace, public enemy number 1. Anyone that kills him will get $5 million. And we all know how that's going to turn out, where people are going to go against him. And let's just say in the end,
just a dark ending.
Yeah, Mr. King does a very dark thing in the end of the book. Really interesting. I left out a lot of details because I want you guys to definitely read this. It was really awesome to see Green Lantern and Green Arrow. You know, Team Green, can't go wrong with that.
Next, with the Flash 75 Years cover. Love how every time there's a classic cover or whatever, we get classic Superman costume. And that is Action Comics 38. Now, I'm all for this Smallville story. Like I said in my review on Comic Frontline, in the last issue, this gigantic tentacle monster basically enthralls Superman, has Lana, and takes this group of kids in also. In this book, we find out where the tentacle monster's from, which, spoiler alert, is the Phantom Zone, and this all goes back to Superman Doomed. I really wish we could let that story go, because that was a horrible story, and to know that there are even ramifications from that is horrible, because Doomsday apparently was jumping from Phantom Zone to Earth. Apparently, it left a rip in the Phantom Zone open, right smack dab in Smallville. But these people that were affected by Brainiac, who now have psychic powers, are able to contain the monsters by creating a certain type of mist that contains everything inside of Smallville. Yeah. So they're really not the enemy. They're trying to stop the enemies or the monsters from the Phantom Zone from breaking out into the entire world. Lana becomes a victim of this tentacle monster. We find out that the fuel for it is fear, and there's these little tentacle things on everybody in Smallville, and basically the more fear there is, the bigger they get, or the more they grow and the stronger they get. So Lana is actually completely taken over by this entity or this being from the Phantom Zone. And now it's up to Superman, obviously, not only to save Lana.
Dark.
It is. It's not only up to Superman to save Lana now, but all of Smallville, and to close the Phantom Zone once and for all. Again, though, I thought that this story arc definitely could have been concluded in this issue. It doesn't look like the end is in sight. I think we've got another 2 issues in this story arc. Maybe I'm wrong, because it doesn't say to be concluded. It says to be continued. At least to my knowledge. Now I want to double check, so I'm not wrong.
I think it said to be continued.
I believe it said to be continued also. No, it just says next into the Phantom Zone.
Oh, well, that's to be continued.
So, I don't know. I feel like the story arc's going a bit too long. I feel like this is really a filler, or kind of like fleshing out Lana's fear / anger towards Clark because he failed to save her parents. But, again, I mean, now that we're leading into Convergence, obviously, this story arc probably will carry all the way through until Convergence, which is only about 3 months away, or 4 months away, I'm sorry, January, February, March, April. It's 3 months away, unless this ends, like I said, next month, and we get a 2-part story, which I don't know. I don't remember the solicits. We haven't covered really solicits, or we have covered the solicits, but I've been looking over Superman, to be honest, because, I don't know. I'm not really enjoying the story arc as much as I'd like to. I love the artwork, though. The art is really, really good in this book. It's just, I wish this story would conclude. Superman will take a shave and things will get back to normal, because this still feels like Superman Doomed Aftermath, and it is, believe it or not, it is still the aftermath of what ended last summer. It's still the aftermath of that, but, we need to break away from that now. It's a new year. We need to get into some new stories and forget about the whole Superman Doom story arc. We're now in the weeklies, and at this point, I'm literally just reading this to get to the end. Batman Eternal issue number 40. There are 12 issues to go. Batman saves Riddler, who basically couldn't even escape his own little trap for Batman when he causes an avalanche. Catwoman is working with the villains now, or against them. It was very convoluted and crazy. Batman decides to take Riddler back to Gotham so Riddler can help, so he can bring him to justice, because Riddler's not going to help Batman figure out who's behind anything in Gotham. And then it's just a bunch of setup for the next issue, and then the Spectre shows up at the end of the issue, which I want to forget all about what happened at Arkham Asylum. I don't even want to think about the ghost side of this again.
Can anyone tell me why the Spectre is appearing in almost every midpoint of an issue? Every time.
It was very straightforward. I read this book really quickly. The dialogue is really good, though, I will say that. But, again, I feel like they're just pushing now. Pushing to get to where they were in the very first page of Batman Eternal. Pushing to where they were in that Batman issue that gave you where Batman went to Catwoman and finally got to speak with Spoiler. You know, we're kind of... This series now is pushing to get to that point, which is close to the end and obviously the end of the book. Because obviously the point where we were at the very beginning of issue 1 of Batman Eternal obviously has to be either the late 40s or issue 50 going into 52, 51 and 52. Because that's obviously leading into the very end of the series, and we all know things go back to normal because the Batman story arc is still moving forward, except Bruce is working out of a bunker now instead of his mansion, because the mansion is now Arkham Mansion. Which, I understand the shakeup, but it's a little too much for me at times. Future's End, issue number 36. Again, it feels like it's just, okay, this happened in the last issue, we're going to continue a little bit of everything. There's a contradiction in this book, too, which I kind of got annoyed with. You got Amethyst trying to save Frankenstein. You've got 50 Sue finding the vault from Arkham Island. You got Superman in Smallville with Constantine. And then you've got more of Terry McGinnis and Plastique. And then it all ends. And here's the contradiction that really pisses me off. If you remember, in the one-shots in September, Shazam gave up being Superman and said, you know what, I'm just going to be myself. Well, guess what? It's issue number 36, and he's back to being Superman again. And he's confronted about that. He's like, I heard that Shazam was back in Metropolis. Are you Superman or are you Shazam? And it's like everything Lois said to Billy went in one ear, hit a brick wall, and went right back out again. Because he's like, this symbol inspires people, but everybody knows you're freaking Shazam now. What was the point? And I want to know what writer let this fall through the cracks, that we've been through this already, and Billy thought it would be a better idea to be Shazam. Why all of a sudden did he have a change of heart? We don't even see why he had a change of heart. It's just 1 second he's Shazam, smiling, flying off in Metropolis, and now we're, what? October, November, December, January, we're 4 months later. 4 months we haven't seen Shazam, and now we see him again and he's Superman again. And then it ends with Firestorm. I'm sorry, but that contradiction kind of annoyed me, just because it's like, you know, you had Shazam say, I'm better at being me. I should just be me and stop pretending to be somebody I'm not. And then he's somebody he's not again. It
watch
annoyed
him do
me.
it again.
It just annoyed me. It's really annoying.
I can understand that.
World's End issue number 14. The civilians are now underground, thanks to the bunker the Atom made before he died, because apparently it killed him to do it. I still don't understand how he came, you know, alive out of nowhere from the... He was in a hospital, but basically comatose. Somebody does die at the very beginning of the issue, which was kind of a shocker. And then you've got... oh God, what's his name? Why did I completely forgot? I completely forgot his name. No, it's not Jason Todd. It's Dick Grayson, but I forgot who he's with. I keep forgetting Wildcat's real name.
Oh, I can't remember.
But he's training basically Dick to be stronger, because he wants Dick to survive this whole ordeal and whatnot. And then you have Superman and Batman fighting to save the Avatar of the Red. There's something with Superman Kal-El's blood. Read the book to find out what that is. And then you have literally just 2 pages with the avatars kind of powered up thanks to their totems. And Flash is trying to find out more information about the Furies of Apocalypse in order to stop them. And then, well, let's just say the issue kind of ends in an explosive way. These are weekly series, and the way I'm reviewing them basically is how I'm reading through them. I don't know, maybe I'm burnt out because I've been doing this now for 40 weeks with Batman, for 36 weeks with Future's End, and World's End is only at issue 14. And at this point, it's like, there's what, 3 more months to go. I'm breezing through them, reading-wise, reviewing-wise. But altogether, I think it was a mistake for DC to have 3 ongoings. And now we're going into Marvel, so I can talk about this book. Wolverine's issue number 1. I read that digitally this week. And again, I don't see the point of why Marvel is having the series. But by the end of the first book, I could see, with the involvement of a specific character, which everybody spoiled already, so I'm going to say it here. If you don't want to hear it, just skip over until you see me pick up the next book. With the appearance at the end of Mr. Sinister, obviously, by the end of this weekly series, either Wolverine is going to be resurrected somehow with his healing factor, or Mr. Sinister has some type of plan to make a Wolverine cloned army or something, because he stole Wolverine's body in the end. And that's it. That's all I got from that. And obviously it involves all the characters that were in the Death of Wolverine. You know, Sabretooth now is dressed like Wolverine because he was unaffected by the wave in the last issue of Axis, so he stayed good. And I believe, who else stayed evil? Havoc stayed evil.
Yeah.
A few characters didn't change, basically, by the end of it. And Sabretooth was one of the ones that didn't change, so he stayed good. And now he's looking to carry on Logan's legacy. No pun intended with the title. All in all, though, I guess we'll have to wait and see where this weekly series goes. But with DC having 3 weekly series right now, I don't understand why Marvel would jump into it with a $3.99 book, by the way, might I add. It's not even $2.99. It's $3.99 a week. I don't care if there's a free digital download copy if you get it physically. Yeah, I don't see this book lasting long. Unless they're only planning to have it out for like 3 or 4 months. I don't see it lasting too long. Unless they had a lot of money to throw away on making a certain amount of issues. Because I know certain fans will buy it, but I know a lot of people are skipping it. Anyway, also Ant-Man #1. I did read that digitally. It was okay. I'm not really too invested in Scott Lang Ant-Man. So, again, not something I'm following through with. And then with the... Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, that book just wasn't my cup of tea. After getting through Rocket Raccoon, I'm not ready to jump into another book like that. Now, honorable mention goes out to Avengers No More Bullying, issue #1. A great group of stories. Did you read this, by the way? Or did
I
you
read only one part of it.
The Spider-Man one, I'm guessing. I figured. It's a nice set of stories involving bullying and how the superheroes leave you sometimes. It's like, I remember we were talking about this on...
a message about not to be bullied and how to deal and go
I kept
down.
feeling like, and it's Jay and Brandt's fault. Every time I finished the story, I heard the G.I. Joe like, now you know, and knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe. So that's kind of the feeling you get when you read these stories. It was a good book, though, if you have kids. If you'd like to support the cause, I would definitely say No More Bullying. I really like this issue for what it was. It's $1.99. This was the cheapest book this week. The cheapest.
And there's this thing going around, you know, that there should be no more bullying, and I agree.
I agree, too. I support that 100%.
Same here. An improvement in this issue, Iron Fist Living Weapon issue #8. And why, I'm going to say this right now. What I was hoping they wouldn't do to Iron Fist... they didn't do, thank God. But let me just get into the story. So, basically, after we got into the then where people, how they thought of Iron Fist, we go to the now, and to sum this up, he's just looking for his mother. And he goes face to face with Dayu, the Realm of the Dead. And here's some artwork. It is a bit sketchy, but it's a great artwork, I would say. And he's just going through every which way with his robotic arms that he got from the last issue from, what's his name? They say in the beginning of the issue, Chi. And Sparrow was with him also, which he knew from a long time ago. So he goes up against them and the wolves. I remember how the mother died from the wolves. Basically, that's how she came back, and she was telling Daniel, you know, that I changed you to darkness and held you by the keys. Basically, he wanted her to go back with him to Earth, but she said that I can't do that, and you know, I can't do that to you, and you have to let me go. And that was really a heartfelt ending, at least I thought for that much. So he's back to Himalayas without the robotic arms, which I am happy for, and I gotta show this last page because this is gonna be a spoiler. The end was what I've been waiting for.
A new costume.
This is what I have been waiting for. Thank you, God. No robotic arms. This was a great issue. Just absolutely just let it and go the route the way I hoped they wouldn't. So, and let's hope we don't see that ever again, at least.
Legendary Star-Lord issue #7. Obviously, this is gearing towards the Black Vortex, which there is an advertisement, I believe, in this book, which I will show. Star-Lord, like I said in the last issue, finds out that Mr. Knife is, spoiler alert, here's the Black Vortex thing, the advertisement first.
Oh, yeah.
He finds out that Mr. Knife is, spoiler, his father. And Kitty Pryde is now in space, out to save Peter Quill. And she actually does successfully. Now, what the father's plan was, what he wanted with Peter, what his whole goal is, read the book to find out. It's really some sinister stuff. I will say that. I didn't know the father as well until I started reading Guardians and Legendary Star-Lord. But if I didn't hate the father before, I hate him now. He's ridiculous, and the artwork in this book is awesome. I am definitely on the Peter Quill's dad needs to be shot out of a cannon into the sun. Train, so to speak. The ending kind of leaves you off with a setup for the next issue.
He's gonna be in it?
He is.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, and he did that.
Uh-huh.
Straightforward issue. Kitty Pryde to the rescue, and the father's dark plans revealed. Except now we've got the Black Vortex coming up, and
That's gonna be some dark black stuff.
and the thing is, it's a X-Men and Guardians of the Galaxy crossover with legendary Star-Lord being one of the issues in the mix. So,
All right.
it's gonna be very, very interesting.
Oh, in stereo.
I'll let you do yours, and then we'll take them.
Yeah. The Punisher issue number 14. Unlike the last issue, which was about the origin of the Howling Commandos, we actually see the Punisher in this issue, which I was very happy about.
Good.
So basically, it's the Howling Commandos who have Frank Castle's so-called family captive still, and Frank Castle, along with the Del Sol, saying we're going to take over the city by tonight, yada yada yada. Here is good old Punisher in nice artwork form. Just going there and doing his thing, taking out everybody, and the Del Sol's men one by one, or the Howling Commandos men one by one, I should say. So there was like the scene where he goes after them, and he didn't want to kill them because of the innocent people he had, but there was like a very interesting thing that he used, and the spoiler alert that I was getting very worried that somebody actually sniped the Punisher. And there was one guy that actually helped him to get out of it. So I was like, can't be getting Punisher there. One of the police officers had a scene of going from being a good cop to actually being a bad cop for someone else. Read the book to find out. And basically, the Howling Commandos are not done yet because they're known to get things done. And their mission is to kill Frank Castle. Or, as he says, he is now the Punisher because he said Frank Castle's been dead. Or his name, at least.
Okay.
So, awesome issue. Definitely book of the week for that one.
Alright, guys, give us just 2 seconds and the click of a button, and we will finish off this week's comic books. We got about 3 left, so we'll be right back. Alright, and we're back, and we're going to Michael's last book of the week.
Yeah, another best book of the week. All New X Factor, issue number 19. One more issue left until it gets canceled.
Well, at least you have Trinity of Sin until March.
Yeah, and that's another series. It's like every series, man, I tell you.
You'll get new ones.
Or maybe a similar story to this. But anyway, goes to Civil Industries, where Harrison is trying to save Barry's daughter, who is actually turned into this, which was a lizard. And I like the artwork because it has the X Factor feel to it. So basically, it's Amit the Soul Eater going after the X Factor team. Sunfire gets owned by them, by the Sin Eater, and then you know, like they're just saying, you know, like everything's dead and everything, and
Everything's dead and everything?
you know, like her child, basically. Like everything's gone. And, like Lorna's trying, or Polaris is trying to make everything fine, but basically she wants to just devour their souls because the Soul Eater, hello. And Georgia actually, you know, tries to help, and Gambit, and they almost get consumed by the soul. There is one person who doesn't, it's a spoiler. Danger, because Danger doesn't have a soul. So basically, since the Soul Eater can't consume Danger, she basically owns him. Or her, actually. And then the ending scene, let's just say Harrison Snow turns to the worst of his side. I want to know why. And something tells me there's going to be very, very twisty things in this last issue. And,
hey, X Factor will go back to Havoc, who's now evil. Last 2 books are Spider-Verse books. First, Spider-Man 2099 issue number 7.
I read this.
Everybody told Mike to read it, and there's a reason. We'll get to that. So, I forget how to pronounce his name. It starts with a D. Deimos. Okay. Deimos is trapped now. Miguel is dissecting one of the clones to try to figure out how to stop the clones or how to stop the inheritors once and for all. Also, he has Lady Spider, or...
Lady Spider.
It is Lady Spider, I was right. go through some of the tech that he got from the other Miguel that was killed by the Inheritors. Turns out Deimos kills himself so he can be recloned, and he comes back to 2099 and targets, obviously, Miguel and Lady Spider.
But there's a reason why. Because he told them to release him now,
and he'll ignore them.
Right.
He won't even bother with them. They'll be spared to live their lives to the end. But they said, yeah,
yeah, because Miguel thought that they would, you know.
And then what Michael liked, and here's a nice art page, was Miguel calls for the help and aid of Punisher 2099, and he kind of slows Deimos down long enough for Spidey and for Miguel and Lady Spider to run back to the safe zone. However, the safe zone, as we saw from the last issue of Amazing Spider-Man, is no longer a safe zone. So what exactly happened in the safe zone, and where did all of the Spider people go? Yeah, I put a hole, but I have another plastic. It's fine. Well, you find that out in this week's top book for me. I'm enjoying the series. Amazing Spider-Man issue number 12. The Father has finally made his appearance, and the Father is, unfortunately, a bad ass. Completely bad. That's the Father. He basically consumed in the last issue Spider-Man with the
he looks like
cosmic powers.
He looks like the old version of Goken from Street Fighter.
Yeah, well, what's his name? Morlun has Benji, because he's the Scion, basically, or Scion, S-C-I-O-N. I would say Scion. Scion? Yeah, I'll say Scion. So May goes completely nuts that she just lost her brother. Spider-Man actually brings in somebody now. For those of you that didn't watch TV way back in the day, there was a Spider-Man show from Japan where Spider-Man actually piloted a mecha.
Oh,
it was a Japanese series. It was very short.
That, yeah.
And I love how they brought that into this book. Spider-Man basically brought him in to fight the Father. The artwork for that character and the robot, amazing stuff. We go back to Silk, who is now on Earth 3145, which is the one Earth none of the Inheritors would go to because it's basically a... it was... what's the word I'm looking for? It was destroyed by nuclear war. The entire world is irradiated wasteland. There's nothing left alive. One thing I don't like with this book is it connects to everything. If you didn't read Spider-Woman, you're not going to understand why Jessica is where she is at this moment. If you didn't read Spider-Man 2099, which is, you turn the page and there's Spider-Man 2099, you're not going to understand really what's going on there. So I don't like that this is kind of a shoddy way of
getting the book shelf.
Yeah, pushing other books to be bought. But okay, Spider-Man is on Earth 8847 for the time being, which apparently is still ruled by dinosaurs, and he contacts Jessica. This is the connection to Spider-Woman, who actually finds the Weaver, the Master Weaver, and he actually has something that will turn the tides, possibly. And I'm not going to spoil what that is. But it turns out that one of the Inheritors, I can't remember his name for the last... Genix, has been monitoring all the communication between the spiders, and now basically he's had enough of it, and he cuts off all communication between dimensions. So basically, if they're not in front of each other's face, they have no way of communicating with each other. I mentioned about the Weaver. And then the ending has a shocker for a final page. With one of the we find out who the last survivor of that nuclear world was, and he or she, I don't want to spoil who it is yet, is actually the spider totem of that world. And man, oh man, the shock that Spidey has, because Silk basically reaches out to Spider-Man and tells him what Earth to jump to, because the Inheritors won't follow them there, because apparently the spiders can survive longer than the Inheritors on this world. I don't know. I don't care. This ending, the ending to this book, holy crap, wow, I was shocked. I honestly was shocked with the last page of this book. I'm loving Spider-Verse. It is a contained story for what it's worth. I mean, it's contained by the word of it's in the Spider Family books. So, yes, you have to read... They say you don't have to, but I would definitely recommend reading Spider-Woman, Spider-Man 2099 at least. Those are direct connections. The checklist is still there. We still got 2099 number 7, which I have now. Spider-Verse 2, Amazing Spider-Man 13, Scarlet Spiders 3, Spider-Woman 3, Spider-Verse Team Up 3, Spider-Man 2099 number 8, which will probably either be next month or the month after, depending on if they ship it. No, they're not. Never mind. It's going to be in 2 months probably. Or, yeah, it's going to be in a month from now at least. And it all ends in Amazing Spider-Man 14. So 2 more Amazing Spider-Mans to go. I'm loving this story arc. I don't care. It's a lot of Spider-Man. It's cheeky advertisements to make you pick up books that you might not have normally been reading. But I'll tell you guys the truth. Spider-Woman's pretty good. Spider-Man 2099 is spectacular. And the team-ups and the 3-part miniseries. Listen, if anybody went out and bought all those Axis tie-ins, Carnage, Hobgoblin, and there was another one, I'm forgetting there was a third one.
No, it was one I didn't pick up. It was, no, what was there?
I don't know. But if you went and picked up just those 2 alone, Axis Carnage and Axis Hobgoblin, I would definitely say pick up the team-ups and the Spider-Verse books, because they're 3 parts also, and they're a lot better. I will say they are definitely a lot better than the Axis tie-ins. Really good series. Highly recommend you guys check out Spider-Verse. If you haven't already, definitely go back and start from the beginning. Really awesome stuff. And with that, that's it for this review, guys. As always, don't forget to check out Comic Related, Comic Frontline, Zone 4 Podcast, and Frontline Gaming Zone. Together, we're your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. And until next week, feel free to leave comments below, and we will answer your guys' comments in the comments below. Or if you direct message me, of course, I'll message you guys back. And until next time, everybody, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and we'll see you guys in the next review.
Later, everybody.